Question 21. The table below shows information about the heights of 60 students. On part A, it says on the grid opposite, we're asked to draw a cumulative frequency graph for the information in the table. So a very common question at higher level GCSE. In order to do this question, first and foremost, we're going to have to work out the cumulative frequencies. So I'm going to add a column. I'm just going to call it CF for cumulative frequencies. And we're going to have to work out the cumulative frequency for each class, for each group here. So let's just populate this table first and foremost before we start to try and draw anything. So the first value in your cumulative frequency column is always the same as the first value in your frequency table. So it's got to be 4. To get the next one, we're going to do 4 plus 5 to get 9. 9 plus 16 gives us 25. And we keep on going. 25, 27 is going to give me 52. 52 and 5 is 57. 57 and 3 is 60. And I know I've done that correctly, or I'm fairly certain I've done it correctly, because it matches the total number of students in the first place. The final number is 60. We had 60 students. I'm fairly confident it's going to be correct. So next thing we got to do is start plotting this information into a table. Now, I'm going to use the magic of my computer here to copy this over, just so we can read off a little bit quicker. Now, it's going to be quite small over here, but hopefully you have it in your exam paper. The important thing to note, when we're drawing a cumulative frequency graph, we always choose the upper bound of the class interval. We're going to plot the upper bound against our cumulative frequencies, and that's going to allow us to draw the graph. So we got to go 150 with 4. So let me see, this is 10, that means halfway is 5, which means one line down has got to be 4. So 150 and 4, I'm going to put a little cross there. Next is 160 and 9, so it's going to be here. And we're going to keep on going. 170, 25. It'll be here. 180, 52. Let's see, 180, and that's 50 there, so 52 must be there. 190, 57 must be here. And then finally, 200 with 60 all the way up to the top right here. And the last part is to make sure that I join these all together. Now, sometimes you can draw using a smooth curve if you wish. I prefer, and you won't lose any marks at all, is actually to join these together using a ruler, using straight lines. It's a little bit more careful that way, less likely to make a mistake. And also, I'm actually going to join this to the bottom. The lowest value was actually 140, so I'm going to go right to the bottom there. And that's our cumulative frequency curve. Now the next part is we're asked to find an estimate for the median. Now in order to do so, we're going to have to go back to our graph. We're going to have to think to ourselves, where on earth do we find the median if I've got 60 people? Well, hopefully you know that median is normally the middle number, so I'm looking for the middle person. If there's 60 people in the group, I'm going to go to the 30th person. Over here, we're going to read across where it hits the graph and then down. And reading that, I see that the median height is going to be, I make it out to be 172. So 172. Try and be as accurate as you can from your diagram. The next part, we're asked to work out an estimate for the interquartile range. Now the interquartile range, you need to know, is the upper quartile subtract the lower quartile. The upper quartile is halfway between the median and the top. So if we've got 60 people in total, the median's at 30, the halfway point got to be at the 45th person. So we're going to read across and down. So I make that from my graph. That's 175, 76, 77, 178. So it's about 178 is our upper quartile. And we're going to do a similar thing to get the lower quartile, except this time we're going to look at the bottom half. So the bottom half is from 0 to 30. It's going to be at the 15th person. We read across and down. So 160, I make that out to be 164. 164. So we've got the upper quartile and we've got the lower quartile. It's going to be 178 minus 164. So 178 minus 164, and I make that out to be exactly 14. Now they will give a bit of tolerance in the exam depending on what your graph looks like. Just try and be as accurate as possible when you're drawing it, and similarly be as accurate as possible when you're using your graph to work out the median and the quartiles.